Well, good morning, YouTube. 8:34 in the a.m. on Wednesday, August 28th. Our appointment is for a live load at 1 p.m. I'm going to try to get there about 11 noon. And we'll see what happens. But I remember I was laying last night thinking about this load. The last time I did this load, well, the only time I've done this load, I was there for 5 hours in that door because they couldn't find my load. My load was on a trailer somewhere else in one of their yards around the block. They had to find that trailer, then dock it, and then translate it from that trailer into mine. I'm just hoping it's not like that today. We'll see. But first, before we even get there, we need to get to the Meyer, which is 105 miles away from here. Should be there about 10. It's the Meyer DC in... I'm going to open up. Newport, Michigan. And then I got 32 miles to go from there to AJM Packaging in Detroit. So, I had Subway for breakfast. Had a steak, egg, and cheese flatbread. I hate that they took the wraps away. They still advertise the wraps on the menu, but Subway no longer has wraps. They don't have the tortilla. They just had the flatbread. But this is supposed to have a PJ Fresh in here. This pilot, all they have is pizza. They don't have any of the other stuff. So, anyhow, that's it for now. And I've already done pre-trip. I'm bobtail, so it doesn't take long. So let's head to Meyer so we can grab this empty. Meyer in Newport, Michigan. No empties. System says there's 3 here. But the tracking system, see, these trailers have a sensor in them. These trailers are 53 foot long. The sensor in the trailers only go back 45 feet. So anything beyond that, it thinks it's empty if it doesn't register anything. There's only one trailer in the 2 rows that they said where the empties are stored. It's got pallets in them. This particular trailer is not even listed on the available empty list that Schneider thinks is here. So the 3, I don't want to misspeak. Come here, I click on find an empty. And it shows 3 trailers, the same 3 that showed earlier. But they're not in the empty storage area. They are pinged near the building, which means they are indoors. We can't pull from a door. We're specifically told, I was just specifically told, if it's in a door, don't touch it. So I just put an exception in. Now we got to figure out where the hell they want to send me for an empty. How did I know I was going to come in? I mean, this is Meyer. You figure there'd be a bunch of them. It's a big, it's a big account. I'm going to woosah, and I'm just going to go with the flow, see what the hell happens. You're not going to believe this shit. Man, these curls are getting on my... I need to cut. So the next place they wanted me to go to get it empty was the same exact place that I am. Yes. I put an exception at the DC here. Meyer number 881. So I cleared that, looked at the next place to go. Meyer DC 881. I put another exception in. I sent a message in, but this time it was assigned to a specific trailer. I put a message in, and I said, tell that stupid planner who sent me the exception to go to the same place that I already am to grab an empty after I put an exception in saying there were no empties in, would I be sitting here wasting my time if there was an empty here? The answer to that question is no. I'd have been gone by now. So after I put another exception in a couple times, 3 times, 4 times, I'm gonna ding the frick out of them. Now I got one up in Dearborn. Still on the direction of where I'm going. So let's hope that Wolfpen Co. or Wolpen Co. has an empty. Alright, just did the pump down for the brake test. We're in one trailer here and it's a 14 model, so it's an old trailer, but you know what? It's a damn trailer, is all I care about. It is brake week, so I checked the brake pad thickness of the trailer. It looked to be in good shape. So now we are what, 10 miles away? Where are we going? We're going to AJM. Right there. Truck route. Well, this says we're 5 miles away. Trucker path.
Continue southeast.
Nope. AJM is, according to Schneider, the company preferred travel route. Come on. There we go. 8.9 miles. So out, make a left, make a right on 7. This says, you've heard me say when it comes to nitty gritty, when it comes to intertown maneuvers, I choose the Schneider tablet over trucker path. Turn my HSA back on. Once I hear the governor, right there it was, governor. Our pre-trip is done, so let me enter this stuff into the. I gotta put the trailer in. Let's see, where am I at? This is a Goodwill, by the way. Wolpen Co. It's a Goodwill. Alright, so we've got TA 149216, 149216, 149216. Now, I had a comment a little while ago that I saw. This person is apparently actively trying to get my CDL revoked. He's like, he can't even open his right eye or his left eye. It's not safe. I'm gonna get your CDL taken from you. So I replied to him that there's I said, well, he said left eye. I said, 1, it's the right eye, and 2, there's a specifically designed tests for persons like me with one eye, classified as monocular, and I passed those tests. But you have at it, sweetheart. You know, try your hardest. So I want to address that. I have talked about it before, but I'm going to title this video "How I Got a CDL with being blind in one eye." We're going to talk about that here in a little bit, but I want to break it down for you, the way it used to be, the transition to where it went to be, and then to what it is now. I'll break it down for you. But you know, he says I'm not safe. So now I'm at the 2-year mark out here on the road. 0 speeding violations, 0 DOT violations. I've only had 2 roadside inspections, but 0 violations on both. 0 accidents. But I'm not safe because I've only got one eye. We'll talk about the details of the test and how they test you. I'll find a report and I'll tell you the name of the test, what the minimum requirements are, and what my scores were. So we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Let's get back. Let's get over to AJM Packaging. It's now 12:06. You know what I appreciate more than anything? I don't care if it's good or bad. Honesty. Honest communication is all that matters, whether that's what I want to hear or not, as long as it's true, as long as it's facts, right? I walk in, I'm here at 12:30. I walk in, it's 12:41 now, but I walk in, he's like, man, give me a couple minutes, I'm sorting something out, I'll be right with you. I'm like, cool, no worries. He gets my information, he's like, 1 o'clock appointment, I'm like, yeah. He's like, I'll be honest with you, bro, probably gonna be a little while. He's like, I was like, well, the last time I was here, I spent 5 hours on the dock. He's like, hey, I ain't gonna keep you that long. I told him why I waited 5 hours. He went, the good news is I got your product right here, I think. But I don't have a door to put you in. I'm like, okay. So he got my name and number. I said, okay, I'll just find a place to park out here in the yard. Just give me a call when you're ready. So I was like, you need to just speak to the trucking industry and tell everybody that same mentality. You'll have a lot less pissed off drivers if you're upfront and honest right from the get-go. Now, yes, it sucks. I'm going to be here for however many hours it's going to take. But you know what? I know now. I know now as opposed to guessing for the next 3 or 4 hours what the hell's going on. So we'll see how it all works out. But like he said too, there's a lot of foreigners out here, and the language barrier. He's like this with everybody, but the language barrier. People, a lot of drivers just don't understand. They act like that. Okay, yes sir, yes sir, thank you. They act like they do, but an hour later they're coming here yelling. He's like, but I don't understand what they're saying then after I done told them what, you know what I'm saying? So whatever. I can appreciate honesty, and he apologized. He said, appreciate your patience for waiting. I was like, listen, dude, you'll never see me bitch and complain about someone doing their job if someone's out there working. He was actively working in the middle of something, and I said if he was like over in the corner smoking a cigarette and just bullshitting about Friday night, then you might have got a different response from me. But you're out here working. We're just all out here working, right? So we're just out here working, doing our jobs, and we got to try to work together as much as, we have to work together as a shipper and a driver. So I'm not saying we're teammates, don't get me wrong, but I'm going to be your biggest support as long as I can. Hey, let's go, baby. Let's go. Woo, 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 woo. Get me loaded. And it's all for my benefit, It's all for my benefit, of course, because the faster I'm loaded, the quicker I get down the road. So it's like getting out of the truck. You're not getting out because you want to be helpful. You're getting out because you don't want to damage your damn equipment. That's not 100% true, but y'all got to understand, too, I'm a very simplistic person. Simple-minded, simple thoughts, straight to the point. I don't care about how something is said. I mean, there's plenty of things that I say that could be said differently and not be as offensive or not. Here's one of those things. Nothing anybody says offends you. You choose to be offended. You choose to take offense. That's your problem. You get offended about something, regardless of what they say, that's your problem. That's your fault, period. Now, there's ways I could say that differently. Well, if somebody says something that you feel offense to, then you should say, hey, I feel offense to. Shut the hell up. No, hell no. It's your fault if you're offended. Yeah, like I said, I'm just a simplistic person. I'm very simple. I don't like the drama. I don't keep it simple, stupid. Remember that t-shirt? Keep it simple, stupid. KISS. This world is so much more complicated than it has to be. Hey, I'm not even going to say it. Never mind. But I'm going to hang out here, get a phone call, and then we'll see how long it takes. All right, so hour and a half, and I'm still waiting for a phone call. Figured I'd be in the dock by now, but there's just no docks open. So let's talk about how I was able to get a CDL being blind in one eye. Now, I was 21 years old when I was planning on getting a CDL. 17 years old, I had a buddy in high school. His family had a trucking company. Me and him had planned we was going to team up, haul coal for a while, start with one truck. And we felt like in 5 years, after one truck, we'd probably have 10 or so. That's what we felt like. It was our plan. But at 21, or a little bit before 21, we was starting looking at the test and talking to DMV and all that stuff. And they informed me that the DOT Blue Book at the time said, since I was classified as monocular, that was the first time of me ever hearing that term, monocular. monocular, monocular, mono one, like one of those mono, what is it, mono, whatever that one lens is. Anyway, I was classified as monocular, and at the time, monocular persons were ineligible to operate a commercial vehicle. So there was that, and it was the whole thing about depth perception and things like that. So what is this now? I'm 47, so we're going 27 years fast forward, but we got to back up some more. About 15 years. About 15 years ago or so, I'm not very good at timelines, but about 15 years ago or so, when I was riding, I was still driving my taxi. The company I worked for had a taxi service, had a delivery service, and had a produce company, right? And the produce side was telling me that with my license, because to drive a taxi you have to have a Class D license, formerly known as the chauffeur's license. They don't call it that no more in West Virginia. It's a Class D license. So you could drive a box truck up to 26,000 pounds with a Class D license. But I didn't want to do produce, and he was talking, well, have you ever thought about getting a CDL? I was like, well, I can't because of my eye. He's like, I heard the rule changed on that, so he didn't know the details, so I contacted DMV at that point. Now, they said then that I could get a CDL, but the first 3 years would be intrastate, meaning I could not leave West Virginia. And then after 3 years with no safety violations, I could apply for an interstate through the federal, which takes about 3 to 6 months to process, for the application process to go through. Now, but before I could do any of that, I had to take a vision test. And at the time, I mean, the taxi business was great. I mean, it was really, really great. I mean, I was making really good money in the taxi business at the time, and I just felt like, all that effort really wasn't worth it for me. So a couple years ago, a few years ago, I'd say the taxi business started going downhill. It wasn't very consistent. It was just completely random. Uber, and I'd be lying if Uber and Freight and all these other rideshare programs didn't affect the taxi business at all, especially in a small city like Charleston. Charleston's population is like 45,000, the last I heard. When I started driving a taxi, it was like 68,000. Charleston's always been small, and that's a small city in general compared by a lot of these big cities, right? So, but Charleston's population kept getting smaller and smaller, and we were the only taxi company in there for years, and I'll admit it, there's a lot of bad viewing on the company from the public because of a lot of long wait times. A lot of times, a lot of drivers refusing to do grocery calls for like 3-block trips. Making no money. Then usually those are the ones that demand their 15 cents back. Just you tend to learn what areas you want to do and what you don't want to do, but all that combined negatively impacted the business, so people were looking at other options versus trying to rely on a taxi. And then of course Uber and Lyft comes in. Now they're facing the same ridicule because some people, screw them, walk, we don't care. That's just facts of life, okay? That's just facts. You can't be a nasty ass person and expect people to service you properly. Screw you. So anyhow, a few years ago, the industry kind of got bad and the money wasn't as good. So early, like April, May or something, I got wind of saying, hey, no, I did not get wind of nothing. I decided, hey, I wanted to call DMV and go forward and learn more, find out exactly what this waiver was and all that shit. So I called them and I asked them, I said, hey, listen, I'm blind on my right eye, classified as monocular. Used to be I couldn't get a CDL, then they changed it to where I could if I did this. What is the process that I would need to do in order to get this waiver and so forth to get a CDL? She went, honey, as of earlier, I think it was like February, as of February of 22 or March of 22 or somewhere, she said as of this year, that waiver is no longer required. I'm like, okay, so what do I got to do now? She says, just normal DOT stuff. I'm like, so there's no restrictions, nothing like that? Because even back then, when I could get a CDL, I was restricted. I could never get a hazmat, and I couldn't haul, like drive buses, I couldn't haul more than 16 passengers. Now, with the DOT designed vision, speaking of which, the DOT designed vision test. Once you pass that, you are good to go. You have to get that done first before you can go get your training for CDL. You have to get the vision test done first. And if you pass that, then you can move forward. So I went and got that test done, and that test is called, what is this? That's the drug test. That's the compliance report from my sleep apnea. This is all my DOT stuff from this year. Patient is able to use monocular cues for depth perception. Approximate June 94. What was the test name? There's a name of that test. Test used to determine results called confrontation. Confrontation test. I swear I had another name at one point. This is the evaluation, the vision evaluation form report, which is from the FMCSA. This form changes every 1 to 2 years. This one expires March of 2025. So I feel like next year, or when I got to do this, I got to get my DOT done every single year because of the eye. They want to keep very, very particular attention on the goodness of my working eye. So I have to do it yearly. I can't do it every 2 years. It'll never happen for me. Well, I'm going to say that, but it was also said you'll never get a CDL. So we'll see what happens. The minimum, because in my left eye, I'm a 20/20. I'm a little farsighted. They said I could use corrective, because it's like my tablet, where it's like an arm length away right now. It's like arm length away. I can see it fine, but the closer, like, I don't know how I can determine this. Like right here, things get blurry, right? Back here, 4 inches, it's perfect. So I'm a little farsighted. But other than that, corrective lenses are not required. What was it? The peripheral vision. What they do, if you've ever had a glaucoma test, and the only reason I even know this is because I had one when I was a teenager for whatever reason. I know when you do a glaucoma test, they put your head in like a round ball. Put your head in here, and with the glaucoma test, they have like little blockers like right here, and you look straight ahead into this white space, and every time a little white dot pops up, you're supposed to let them know. Now, the only difference between a glaucoma test and a peripheral test, which is the DOT, is instead of it being like this, they widen it, they do 180 degrees, right? Now, every time you see, you look at the same thing in a white space, you look straight ahead, now your peripheral's way out here, they're doing extreme ranges. They're testing your peripheral. So every time a light, you see a light anywhere in your vision, your peripheral or whatever, you click this button. And these tests, like, I had to take like 3 of them back to back to back. One was like 3 minutes, one was like 2 minutes, another one was like 5 minutes. They just vary in length, and there's a completely random pattern, and there's no noise when it clicks off. It's just whenever you see a little pin light, it's like a barely bright little pin light, so it's like barely can see it. And then they also got different patterns and sizes and brightnesses. They got like bigger ones that are dimmer, and they got smaller ones that are brighter, big bright ones, small dim ones. They have all this whole thing, this program designed specifically for the vision of the monocular person, right? So every time you see it, granted, you're looking straight ahead, you click this thing button. So I'm sitting there in a kind of uncomfortable position because you got to be straight up, chin's on the thing. You're inside here. Click. You got your little thing, clicker in your hand. Click, whatever you see it. And the minimum passing for that test is 75% peripheral. My score, percent or degrees? It's probably up there in my other thing. And this is current. My last year stuff, I think it's up there. think it was, okay, it's either 75 degrees or 75%. But my score, it can't be percent because my score was like 180. No, what? No, it was 160. 160 was my score. So 75% would be, I don't know, from, I guess right here. Because my peripheral right now is like right here and right there. So, yeah, I have 160 degree peripheral vision off of my good eye. And the minimum was 75. So I doubled the DOT requirements. So that's how, since I passed the vision test, I was permitted to go ahead and go to CDL school. So when I went to CDL school and I proved I had this vision test, I had to take my DOT physical first. Well, vision first, then the DOT physical, then I could start school. Start my CDL training. So after the first week, you go get your training card. You take the test, the book test at the DMV. You get your training card, so that way the next 2 weeks when you're in training in CDL school, or at least where I went, you have that test card to where you can be behind the wheel of the truck to learn to drive it. And then you have your final test, your final driving test with a state DOT instructor from the DMV, and he approves whether you pass or not. You do your maneuvers in the yard, and you do your road test, and once you pass, Bob's your uncle. Now I failed my first time. I didn't get to do the road test on the first attempt, because the damn 90 screwed me up. You're allowed 2 pull-ups during that whole. I had no problem with the crossover, no problem with the straight back, no problem with the alley dock. Not the alley dock, with the parallel parking. But the 90 screwed me up. I just messed up. But the second week, no problems. So yeah, that's how I'm able to get a CDL, and you can too. Because I remember when I first got my CDL, and I was talking on Facebook saying, "Hey, here's what I'm doing now." I had cousins. Like, yo, bro, how the hell did you manage this? I told them exactly what I told you. There's a test now specifically designed for monocular people to prove whether you're safe or not, or at least whether your vision is safe. Your actions determine whether you're safe, but is your vision good enough to operate the vehicle? Now, I will probably say something that if my eyes were in reversal, I don't know if it would be maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe it's because my left eye is the good eye, which is the side we're driving on, and my right eye is the inside eye. Maybe that's the loophole that I don't know about. Because to the right, you're looking at mirrors any damn way, and you're not seeing shit past your fucking door, even if you have both eyes. And you're using your mirrors. So maybe that has. Don't you smite me? Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. I don't know if it's the same for if left eye was blind, right eye's good, or just right eye's bad, left eye's good. I don't know that. I didn't have to ask that question because it didn't apply to me, and I just thought of it. So, yeah, that's how I got a CDL. And if you're blind in one eye too, then you can get one too. Just pass the DOT vision exam, then pass your DOT physical, and you can go get your CDL. So I hope that clears things up for some of you wondering how the hell I got a CDL and I'm unsafe and all that crap. But yeah, that's it. So I got a guy up here trying to back, and I don't know why he's going the wrong way, but whatever. Anyway, I'm still waiting for a phone call. Well, it's now 3:20, so what's that? 2.5 hours. But good news, I just got a phone call about 5 minutes ago. He's like, "Buddy, hey, I'm sorry. Trying to get you in as fast as I can. Just keep an eye on Dock 57, and once that clears up, that's where you're going next." So I was like, I can't really see the dot numbers from where I'm at, so would you call me back? And he said, yeah, he will, but I know 40's in front of me, and I remember when I was in there looking, I was looking inside their dock doors, curious, seeing how they have them numbered inside. Just so I was looking at, I noticed that the doors had numbers on them, and the one closest to the driver entrance didn't have a number, so I looked at the one next to it. If I remember correctly, I think it's a 56. So, and I looked at another one, 55. So it's getting smaller this way. So I'm assuming 57 is the door right down there where that truck's in. I'm gonna wait till he pulls out. I'm gonna pull over. I think, if I remember correctly. But anyway, I've at least spoken to somebody after 2.5 hours. strike 2 on AJM Packaging in Detroit. Now, what's it going to be like when I get to HEB in Houston on Saturday? Strike 2 for them as well? We'll find out. 4 o'clock on the button. I just bumped the dock. Went back to check to make sure I was straight because the lines here can't see. So 3 hours after appointment time, 3.5 hours after I got here, I'm finally in the dock. Funny thing is, this location details here, they close at 2:30, judging by the hours that we have on the work assignment. Well, I'm glad they don't, apparently. Either that or they're supposed to close at 2:30 and they're just always behind schedule and they just can't because they got trucks lined up waiting to be loaded. One or the other. Now it's 4 o'clock in the PM. Let's see how long this takes us. You know, I've been looking on the load board trying to find something to follow this load up. Hopefully on Sunday, which we know weekends are hard as hell to get anything, especially out of Texas or the Houston area for that, just more specifically. But I haven't been finding anything that come up on Sunday. I had one that was favorited for, it was planned for Sunday, but when it was confirmed for Friday. That ain't gonna help me. And I'm like, I'm not seeing no loads on Monday. Everything that comes out after the weekend are coming out on Tuesday. I'm like, what in the hell? And it was brought to my attention. I was talking to the woman, and she's like, you know, Monday's Labor Day, right? I'm like, no. I don't think of holidays. I just don't. So that explains the reason I'm not seeing nothing on Monday. It's Labor Day. Everybody closes on Labor Day except truck drivers. So that's hurting. I gotta find some. Now I'm doing like a 250-mile search outside of Houston. I got something that'll put me in the net favorited, but I really don't want that trip. But we'll see. Maybe we'll get lucky. Who knows? We'll find out. Maybe Curl, I need a haircut bad. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, I didn't realize it was Labor Day weekend. I didn't realize it was holiday, and I was like, that explains why I'm not seeing no loads for Monday. All right, so apparently I talked to overload today. So this is a long ass video, and I'm sorry. We're breaking 40 minutes. I know some of you really like the long videos. That's not, you know, roadtages and actual videos. So for those of you that don't like these longer videos, I apologize. For those of you that do like these super long or these longer videos, and hey, here you go. I try to keep it balanced, 20-30 minutes maybe. You know, I think that's the happy medium. But we are now at a TA truck stop in Dexter, Michigan, right outside of what was that? Hell, I just came through there, Ann Arbor. I was going to get scaled first. I was like, screw it. I just parked. I will scale this thing tomorrow. Paperwork says 41,000 and change, so we should be right around 77,000 pounds on this load. It's always a heavy load. It was last time too. So, but for now, I haven't had lunch. I ate breakfast this morning. That was it. What did I have for breakfast? Where was I at this morning? Where did I start my day this morning? Pilot, Upper Sandusky. I had Subway, steak, egg, and cheese flatbread. Okay, there we go. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna go in here to the Country Pride restaurant, have a meal. I think if there's a lot of Country Prides are not even open anymore for whatever reason. They just still have the branding up. But there's a Popeyes here, but TA's got some decent alternatives as well. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and grab dinner. I'm calling tonight. I'm aggravated. I'm tired, and I thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of it. If you have any questions about the eye thing and that I didn't cover that little segment, Feel free to post a comment, a question in the comments there. I'm an open book, guys. I really am. I don't have anything to shy about. I have no reason to lie about anything. That's all I can say. Thank you so much. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow.